Yeah, well, that was the plan initially, was to write Angel of Vengeance and then 3 more with titles that I sort of had in mind, which was Angel of Death, Guardian Angel, and Angel Dust. And that was the plan. But then things were going so quickly with the show, I told them I needed the character rights protected because I wanted to write sequels, and that I wanted to publish the novel. And when we went into pitch, everything was not completely in place. So at this point right now, I don't have the right to write other novels, but it's something I could petition for and potentially get. So that's in the works. Hopefully that'll happen.
One of the things that we've all talked about on the websites was a lot of us don't believe that Shannon was
conscious decision to keep her not as one up front in your face like Beth and Joseph and.
Yeah, well, we realized. I mean, initially, what Ron and I were going to do in the pilot, she was going to be more of a force wreaking havoc in his life, kind of more of a Alexa Carrington, somebody who was like behind, like you didn't see her maybe every episode, but you would go back to her and see that she was working against him, and doing something, periodically, kind of like the Smoking Man, the X-Files. He would return to Corleone, and then he was going to, like, in the course of the season, he would have to destroy her, or try to, and then we'd think she's gone, and then maybe bring her back at a later date. But yeah, it gets, the networks are they do not like serialized things these days. They like standalone shows that they can air in any order, and they don't have to worry about,
keeping somebody to change.
Yeah. So stripping as much of that out, they were very happy to not have it be.
And that Chip wasn't particularly fond of the character of Joseph, and that's why he was a little more underused until Harry and Gabby took over.
I don't know. I wasn't aware of that. I don't know. I mean, it seemed like he was, Joseph is, people seem to like him pretty well. I don't really know what Chip's personal feelings were about it, but,
according to Harry, Chip wasn't real fond of Joseph.
I don't know, yeah. So they started utilizing him more in the back.
Last 4 a.m. I know what you know.
Joseph is such a wonderful character. And the thing that we love Nick, we love Beth, we love Joseph, we hated Corleone.
Right.
Some of us did.
most of us hated.
Okay, most of us, I will not say.
You did your job.
But you did your job because that's what we're supposed to do, right? But why, and I'm trying to figure out how on earth you could, to me it was like, I'd love to have seen more Joseph. I would have loved to see less procedurals. I would have loved to see more of the interaction between them. And I'm trying to figure out how much of that was your decision as a writer versus somebody else getting involved in the process.
The reason we didn't do that sort of thing?
Right.
Well, initially when we were pitching the show and talking about the show, people were excited about, we were like, I was saying last night, that we were like, we can time travel in this show, we can take a backstory and somehow make it current, all these things, and do bits and pieces from, the Civil War or, the Revolutionary War or the French Revolution or whatever we want to do. And everybody liked that idea, it sounded great until you deal with the practicalities of the budget, where, trying to make something look like France in the 1700s is expensive and difficult, and, so that was part of it, but, we still, the intention was to do, for Ron and I, and in the beginning, and actually all the way through as much as possible, to delve into the backstories of these people. One of the things that I like about Lost so much is that I think that could be a really boring show about people on an island, except, you get off that island and you keep revealing new facets, things you think you understand the character, and then you reveal something new, and I think that's, it intrigues me, and so I wanted to do things like that with these characters, and that's what we tried to do, that's what we pushed to do, but, again, it kind of goes back to them wanting a procedural. When you start doing backstory stuff, it pertains to other episodes and things that preceded and things that came before. And suddenly, you don't have a standalone episode because you have to have seen episode 3 if you want to understand what's going on in episode 7. And so that's one of the things that they keep trying to change and you know, just have an episode where he, you know, uncovers this clue and, you know, and that's not what we want him to do, you know. I mean, that's kind of more or less how it happened. Yes, I'm working on it, and I promised Ron I would not say much about it, but basically it's still a supernatural thriller. It's going to be angels and demons instead of vampires, and I think, you know, there are a lot of kind of core things that are similar to, you know, just in terms of tone and in terms of there's going to be, you know, a kind of an impossible romance. And yeah, certain things are similar. I think people that like Moonlight will like the new one as well. You know, if we get it up and going, hopefully.
I have a question. I'm on the back, so it's hard for me to
Yes.
get a word in. In your screenplay, which a lot of us bootlegged and read,
The feature.
Original.
Twilight.
Oh,
yeah.
Twilight. Right.
In your screenplay, Joseph was a very different character than what we saw, even in the first 12 episodes. And I mean, and in the pilot, he was a different character as far as being an older vampire, not just in vampire age, but an older vampire in human age as well.
Right.
And he was, well, I don't know if anybody hasn't read it, but he was revealed to not be the vampire we thought he was at the end of that. Where would you have, I guess, why did that change? And was Joseph going to go in that direction anyway, even though he changed to be a younger looking vampire?
I think, well, yeah, initially Ron and I just thought that would be fun. We liked the idea of a mentor and you know, somebody who could, you know, was an older, wiser vampire who could kind of guide Mick, who was a younger vampire. And that was, you know, it was just a mentor character, and, you know, we basically wrote the whole thing. At some point, we started talking about how it would be interesting to take a mentor character and have him also be a betrayer character, you know, and also, you know, like trying to walk the line that, you know, where he does like Mick, you know, he does care for Mick, but he loves Coraline. And so that was the idea, you know, we were just going to kind of, you know, over the course of the season, we would reveal this awful betrayal and have all of that come out, and it sounded just, you know, interesting to us.
Okay, so your vision